Good afternoon and welcome to my channel. What a crazy day I've had. I'm absolutely shattered. But we're here and let's go. My name is Joyce. For those of you who are new here, I do all things personal development and sorry, just putting my bags out of the way so they don't display everything that's in there. And yeah, today I wanted to talk about something that somebody said. I know, what does that sound like? I want to talk about something that somebody said. Well, who else would have said it? Anyway, there is this, how shall I say, an old timer, has been, I want to say. She's probably still big in her country of origin. I don't really know. And she was talking at the elections, or its runner-up to the elections in America, and she said that she is no longer black. Now, for those of you who don't know, there's a way that the West describes people of my descent. Now, I am African and I am East African, and I would rather be described as African rather than black. But when you come here, sometimes the labels that people give you, while I may not necessarily consent to them, that's not my problem, your problem. I have no issue with it because I'm very comfortable in who I am. And I think what she said, the fact that she said she's not black after identifying and profiting and being very successful in identifying as black, she's decided that she's no longer that, even though that would be half of who she is. Although I always wonder which half of people who are of mixed heritage is the other. Anyway, let's not get into that. Let's not get petty like she did. But my point is around how the issues that people have with who they are or other, and she's been she's in her mid-40s, probably late 40s, I want to say. But, she's identified for a long time as this particular race. She was proudly that, and suddenly she's not. And I wonder whether this is because of what society has been saying about being of a particular ethnicity. Perhaps she's had too much negativity and stereotypes that she's thinking, well, actually, I don't want to be identified as that anymore. Or it could be just her trying to get back her 10 minutes of fame. I don't know. Or maybe she really does have an issue of who she is, because if her mother is that, what does that say about who she thinks her mother is, or how she feels about that part of her? And I was just wondering, in terms of how you feel about who you are. There are other parts that people don't necessarily see in a positive light. So, for example, and when I say others, I mean mainstream stereotype. That's essentially what I mean. I don't mean people themselves. I don't really care about what you think about who I am, right? I'm very comfortable with who I am. And if you have a problem with who I am, that's your problem. And I haven't got time to dwell on it. That being said, I wonder how many people struggle with other areas of their life. So, for example, age is a massive thing in the West. Everybody wants to be 21. And so the minute you turn 25, 30, you've had people crying because they turn 30. I don't get it. And that's probably because it's not something that I grew up being or holding very sacred. In fact, in my culture, age is a wonderful thing. Not everybody gets to be 50. Not everybody gets to be 60, 70, 80. It's a privilege to get old. And with that comes a lot of wisdom and courage. But I think in the West, it's a slightly different ball game. And we're not going to get into that. But is that your issue? Are you worried about getting old? It could be that you're worried about your body and your body image and what people say about this. But I think to deny is probably a little bit extreme. But I just wanted for us to think about how we feel about different parts of us that people may not necessarily approve of or encourage or celebrate. So today's conversation is, how do you feel about areas of yourself that people don't necessarily hold in high regard? And when I say people, I mean non-entities, because for yourself, it's about how you feel about yourself, not what other people think. And I think for me, this particular person has raised different issues about how she feels about herself. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.